you have, Sai, listening to you, you have this robust portfolio of important work that you have done in the past, right? And earlier on, I was paying attention to what you say you're doing currently,
Hmm.
including what you just mentioned you're going back for. So
Yeah.
how do you, and this is for, because folks listening to this can take different things from different parts of your interview today. Um, how do you, in this day and age, so you today, manage your work that you're doing? Your work that is germane to your medical practice, your work that you're doing that you're giving back to the community, things that you're getting tapped on the shoulder to say, hey, come back. How are you managing this?
Yeah. It's tough, man. I mean, and I feel like it's the same way in med school. People probably listening to my stuff like, man, this dude, does he sleep? Like, is he
Right, right.
what is he smoking on the side that's even allowing him to get, to be able to do this stuff? And I feel like, it's like a slow and steady pace thing that you
Mhm.
have to do. And I struggle with it, man. I mean, in med school, Fred can attest, like I was putting in more hours doing community service and mentorship activities than I was hitting the books
Got
efficiently,
it.
at least.
Mhm.
So until I got my head straight, because I was like, I was having a hard time balancing these things, and it was starting to reflect itself in my academic performance. So I had to
Mhm.
kind of check myself and balance things out a bit more. Like my first year I was all over the place. Second year is kind of got a little better. By the time I got to third year, I was like, okay, cool. If I don't become a physician, I'm not going to be able to make the impact I want to make down the road. So I can't try to do it all right now and fall off, and then that's not going to give the biggest impact overall over my career. So I feel like you have to balance things to the point where you're still doing good, you're still making change on the side, but at the same time you're getting yourself to where you need to get in order to make the biggest impact. And that's by becoming a physician, being in practice, taking care of people, bringing people up, mentoring, providing scholarships, doing all these things that you can do when you achieve that level of public trust, prestige, financial ability to make a difference, all that stuff that comes with being a physician. You got to become a physician first before you can get there. So I always try to tell my mentees, like, look, man, don't ever let the work, and having the culture and the people on your shoulders prevent you from meeting your goals, because ultimately that's the best way you're going to be able to make a difference. So I've definitely had to learn how to balance those things better. And I
Mhm.
feel like now as a resident, I've got a pretty good ability to say no, which I think is very important. Like sometimes you just have to turn opportunities down. Like, look, man, I would love to do this, but I can't. I just can't. I can't learn how to become an ophthalmologist at the same time I'm doing XYZ. I'm only gonna be able to do XY or whatever it is. So for me currently, that looks like, I'm working the standard hours, Monday through Friday, plus taking primary call on, the nights and weekends and stuff like that. And every month we have a free eye clinic at the Iowa City Free Medical Center. So we do, a half day there. So and I don't go every month. Some months I have to pass or I'm on call or whatever it is. So I go up there as many times as I can, and and see those patients, because that re-energizes me. And it's doing that work is it kind of helps give me the energy to continue doing my studies too. So I feel like finding a way to re-energize from this work is helpful as well when it comes to balancing everything. And also, as part of the DEI committee for my department, I'm doing these meetings where I'm like leveraging the power and influence that other people have. Like our department chair, Dr. Keith Carter, he is big time, man. I mean, he's as a black man to lead a top 3 ophthalmology department in the country
Yeah. Mhm.
is that's like, the level of things that he's doing. He's been the president of the whole American Academy of Ophthalmology.
Ooh.
Dude helped, create the this mom program. It's like minority mentoring ophthalmology. I can't remember the exact mentoring ophthalmology, something like that. Mom program. He founded that, co-founded that.
Mhm.
So he's doing that work on a high level. It's easy for me to come up with an idea and then take it to a dude like Dr. Carter to help me get the resources to make that happen, or to, help his people that work for him make that thing happen. So now I feel like a lot more of the stuff that I do is kind of delegation, where like I'll come up with an idea and I'll rely on my co-residents and the amazing faculty that are above me and people like Dr. Carter to, bring that stuff into existence. Like, for example, um, ophthalmology is doing bad when it comes to URM representation, period. Like basically the worst in medicine. So, if you look at how many ophthalmologists are Black, it's something like 3% across the board. And you figure when you look at diseases like glaucoma and how much higher the rates are in the African American population, how much, more progressive the disease is by the time people are diagnosed, how at an earlier age people are diagnosed with glaucoma in the African American population. We need Black ophthalmologists badly, but we have the least representation out of all the fields of medicine. So it's so important, and it just makes it so much more, necessary that I'm, taking advantage of the opportunity to work with people like Dr. Carter. We have 2 Black residents currently in my program, me and Aaron Dotson in the class above me. 2 years ago, we had a Chief Alexis Warren, who's now going off and doing things as a retina surgeon. So, I mean, there's a few people in Iowa who's been making a difference. But last year, we started doing these funded away scholarships. So when 4th-year med students want to come do an away at Iowa, we were giving them a couple $1,000s to support them to be able to come here, find a place to stay, do whatever it is that they can to, be with us for those 4 weeks, trying to make the financial burden a little bit easier. So from that, we, work with the mom program. We work with Rab Venable, which is another program that's designed to help URM students get into ophthalmology. We went from going from a class of, 1 Black resident being in a class of 5, the way it was for Alexis, Aaron, and myself. And now we just had match day last week, like 4 days ago. 3 out of 6 of our residents coming in the next class are Black. And that's through, one of them was in the away program. I think all of them were in the Rab Venable and the MOM program. So, I mean, these are like direct impacts we're seeing happen. And this year, we're expanding that program even more. So next year, hopefully, we're going to have 2 or 3 away scholarships that we'll be able to offer to people to come here. So it's like I'm still trying to do the work, but I'm just doing it, in a little different way.
Yeah.
And, but it's still impactful nonetheless, man. I mean, I think we're literally the only program in the country that recruited 3 Black residents this year in the match. And, I guarantee there's no program out there that has 50% of a resident class Black. There's no way, in ophthalmology, at least.
Yeah. That's
so, yeah, man. So, I mean, we're making changes, man. It's important work. And, you just got to find a way to do what you can, and I'm looking forward to a career, hopefully in academic medicine, where I can continue this work, man. I feel like you gotta have a seat at the table, man. And that's I feel like that's the place where I can make the biggest impact. So that's the next stop for me, hopefully.